What's up, Digidestins? This is Kyle D, better known as RideMyAvatar, and today we have the restriction list. I'm sorry for a late post. I was hoping they'll give us the explanation by now, but I've also been moving a friend up close to me, so I moved him all day, so that's why I didn't really post this on time. But let's just see what the restriction list gave us and what we kind of can assume why these hits were there. But without further ado, let's dive in the video and talk about it. So first off, they hit Sayo & Co, the blue tamer. So if you guys don't know what this card has been about for a little bit, this card has led into quite a few nasty, gnarly loops. And again, at this point, we got a new tamer to replace it, and that is Sayo. Gives us a whole new strategy to work with, and again, this thing is just way too strong for its own good. At the end of the day, you know, being able to loop your opponent back to your turn has been always an issue of contention since the original loops were starting to happen. Those hits were good enough to keep it at bay, but nowadays we kind of are just back to square one. We are re-looping, redoing everything, and our opponents are just being able to play on our turn. So that's just something that we needed to stop. And again, it makes a lot of sense. You know, they just introduced Leopard X, Leopard Ace, that can just do the same thing if you can get the pieces on going. The problem came down to was always the fact of the matter is, you had these legend arms that are able to play themselves, instantly tuck them, and just do all these shenanigans to gain memory that would lead to your turn back, and it led to this problem. I'm glad Sayo & Co is gone. Now people can complain a little bit less on the loop part aspect, and hopefully this might lead to more loops to be hit in the future. But yeah, just one good hit here, and that's, I think it's an acceptable hit. We have a replacement in the form of Sayo for the Galaxy deck, and yeah. Next we have the restriction. So there's a choice restriction going on. If you have Taomon, you can't play Sakuya X, and then if you have either Tao or Sakuya X, you can't play Chaos Folder Arm. If I'm reading that right, because of how it's symbolized, this is why things need to be explained and not just given a vague, oh, at 5:30 in the morning, here's your list, and then no explanation ever all day, which we're basically at almost 11 o'clock at night, and that's just ridiculous. But that choice restriction is a good thing. It keeps Taomon in the fray because we know for a fact that Taomon's going to be in the advanced deck. That's just symbolizing they didn't want to hit this card because those advanced decks are printed out, and that means this thing's a 4-up in that list. So just be ready to expect that the starter deck will come with 4 of these. That means basically they're trying to null and void having Sakuya X antibody being played in the list as well. So it makes a lot of sense, right? Just to kind of just balance this out. I mean, again, players will have to pick and choose how they want to build their top end, but it also guarantees that Volder Arm won't be kind of just turboed into, and then your opponent's just not being able to play. These, floodgate-esque effects are quite annoying, but if you can mitigate those cheap free evolves, especially for a card that basically says Sakuya X go into with Sakuyamon, instantly gain so much value and tempo, it's not even funny. So, this is a good restriction choice all around to kind of just level things out. But you have Chaos Volder Arm just being able to no longer be going into, which is pretty solid. Now, here comes the one of hots. So first off, we have Rush Gila. So Rush Gila was kind of one of those cards that everybody expected. The loops have been playing this card at an excessive rate that is not even funny, and I think pretty much Gilamon being hit to 1 will mitigate those OTK turns that just seem nigh impossible, just because again, when you combo them with Gravity Crush or Jack Raid, and then you can extend your plays further and just be able to get like double Rush Gila to get those final in attacks, it's always been a problem. It's just, at the end of the day, eventually had to get hit. So Rush Gila got hit down to 1, makes it a lot more challenging for the deck to pop off with it. But if they find it, they will still be able to OTK you a little more. Just be ready for that, because again, the deck can just cycle the Gilamon several different times as long as they have Rush and they can get into Growl X. you know, in the same turn. That's just gonna what's gonna happen there. They hit Growlmon. My assumption for this card is pretty simple. It's gonna trash both players' cards of the deck, but I don't think this is what the main focal point is. I think it's the when attacking skill, because let's just say you swing in with a rookie and it survives. Okay, now you swing in with the Growl X antibody, swing in, you pop, you get, let's say you get 2 checks in just from this and it dies on the second check with a Growl X on top. You get to play the Rush Dealer back, and boom, your opponent now took way too much damage just for a small problem. But it also makes it so that you can't just cheat memory with the other cards. To be honest with you, this was either going to be hit or the Growl X antibody. A lot of people were standing on Growl X antibody because of just history past, right? You know, Gabumon always gets hit. The Gabumon line almost gets hit every single time they print a busted card. And then basically they kind of take out on even just any decks that are in the high pops. I'm guessing because they went nuclear on Sakuyamon, they just didn't feel like they wanted to go completely nuclear on the Magidramon. I mean, it still got 3 cards hit, but you know, Sakuya got like 2 choice restriction based, and then they got basically, you know, 1 hit on an option that most players weren't really playing in Sakuyamon itself. But all in all, those are hits. Garurumon X antibody. To be honest with you, this card is catching strays for Growl X. Birds by themselves wasn't that crazy. It's been the fact that they went for vaccine type version, or the fact they went with the current version with the Growl. Stuff like that really starts to shine brightly on it. So I kind of get where they're going with this hit. Do I think it was justified? No, I think it died for Growl X's sins. I just don't know why they wanted to keep Growl X around. I get it. I have no objections on keeping it in because you hit basically 2 important pieces, but at the end of the day, it's not future proofed. But you know, they're going to be able to do things as always. Metal Garurumon is something that a lot of players weren't expecting. Didn't really have many tops to come at it, but with the Ultra S kind of just being hyped up and this card being one of those important pieces, just being able to gain, you know, memory, especially you draw so much in this deck, it just leads into basically free evolve climb, and they're just trying to mitigate that a little bit. I get where they're going because they want the loop to continue, and I get it, but at the end of the day, this is what we kind of get, right? So Metal Garurumon just being Metal Garurumon. Now again, Sakuyamon, this card has the when Digivolve and draw 2, then may use 1 single option with a use cost of 5 or less from your hand without paying its cost. Your turn, when any of options with a use cost 2 or more, play 1 Pipe Fox token. Probably explained by the fact that they won't have more than 1 copy of this card in the list. So yeah, I think the advanced deck will only have 1 copy, if anything, in the list. So yeah, I kind of get where they're going, trying to hit it. Digievolution plugin S, just being able to do the free evolution. I know not a lot of players were playing this, but it was an option. You know, then when you may Digivolve one of your Digimon into a Digimon card in your hand with for that Digievolution cost of 3 or less without paying its Digievolution cost, being able to reduce some of your, you know, level 6s and ultimates just to get a reduced Digievolution cost, especially since you play so many options for free, just makes it more challenging for a lot of decks to play catch up. I get it. Even though they kind of started taking out Grav Crush was just basically because dying for the Growl Loop shenanigans. Card is good. Just been a long time coming for a lot of these memory gain options to kind of just get hit. Junk, this was probably a Battlemon really causing the damage. They just went like, let's go kill this. No Tropical Venom, but again, it's like hit or miss on that situation, right? Card is placed on a condition that relates to you deleting one of your opponent's Digimon, and with aces around, it becomes a lot more challenging to do. And Venom, I just don't think Tropical Venom will get hit anytime soon because no one can bust that card. I'm sorry to say that, but you know, junk is junk. Now, finally, Royal Knight of the Purge. So a lot of players are probably saying this did nothing. Why hit this card? Hitting this card, the deck's still playable. There's a difference between seeing your only need to find this one card when you have 4 copies once, and then you get to do all your shenanigans, when trying to find this card when you only have 1 copy of it, and you basically now bottom deck it with some of your effects and all that. It's not ending well for it. So I think at the end of the day, Royal Knight of the Purge definitely died for, you know, Digimon X antibody sins, because again, being able to on-place effects of that Digimon don't activate, but because Omni X is an end of turn skill, you just take advantage of it. Knights of the Royal Knights of the Purge, yeah, just time to say goodbye. I don't think the deck is dead, nor is it probably like below tier 1 still. I think the deck has great stuff going for it, and BT23 is huge. Things I really want to talk about real quick. You know, let's just take a look at the official stuff. First off, yeah, see ban 1 pair ban with these 3 cards. So A is affected by B. So okay, so you can keep Sakuya and Talmon together, it looks like X, but you just can't play Volder Arm with one of these 2. If someone wants to correct me, yeah, just tell me. But then all these are restricted, which is good to see, right? Because again, we don't want to have these cards be such a problem in our stuff. Looking like new illustrations revealed for the first time. So this is a AD01 new card illustration revealed for the first time. We're getting a new Siriusmon, so I don't know how this is handling. Nobody's really explained. You know, EX11 showcasing Impmon, and then this girl here, I think that is Yuki. Is that a young Yuki? Don't tell me these illustrators. Hi to tell how a partner and how a great loyal rivalry began in the digital world. Okay. I mean, I really do like the Impmon. It looks really solid. So that's pretty cool to see. You know, they also showed BT22 new illustration reveal for the first time. Yes, there we go. We got, you know, time savers starting to show off, which is I'm happy for. Illustration for the new Renamon, which is pretty cool. Then, you know, they showed off the events. This is definitely Rapidmon. There's no way in hell it's not Rapidmon. If anybody says this is, you know, Magnamon or something like that, this is the level 7, bud. So just keep that in mind. And they showed off Maste, which will lead into so much hype for Mirai itself. Just be ready for this Mirai deck to skyrocket pretty quickly. At the end of the day, we also got Wormmon shown off, which is really good. It's a Hoodie plus CS. So at least Hoodiemon is going to be important. This Digimon may digivolve in Hoodie in your hand or trash with its evolution cost reduced by 2. So pretty decent there. But they also showcase the Gutsumon, Betamon, and Tentomon. So again, they're CS trace with Hoodie effects. You know, when attacking, you may play one play cost 5 or lower Digimon with Hoodie trait from your hand without paying its cost. The Digimon that was played cannot digivolve and is deleted at the end of your opponent's turn, which is going to be very interesting how they go about it, right? I just don't know how they're going to plan it. I mean, being able to have the search, and then by trashing 1 card in your hand, you may return 1 non-Digi egg with CS traits from your trash to your hand. So just getting cycling pieces back, really solid. I think these could see some splash depending on the Hoodie effects. They showed off this beautiful of a card. Like, dude, Black War Greymon SP is sick. Hopefully we get to see it in person and someone pulls it at your locals. Hopefully they enjoy this card for what it's worth. But guys, what do you think of the event? Oh yeah, this one's super important actually. They announced that part of the box topper of Sinister Order, you can pull the Skull Knightmon that everybody was like, the promo's too expensive. They gave you an alt. So people that have the base rarity are gonna flip those for this. That's really awesome. I'm excited to see those flips. The Itmon's pretty cool. The Devimon is pretty cool. Miss Memory Boost reprint and Gamamon getting in another reprint is really solid. So he also showed off Girl Power, which again, a lot of players will be picking that up just for the Mirais. But outside of that, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll catch you next one. Peace.